Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Scrubs, Season 10, Episode 3, My Rom-Com. Yes, I know it's kind of weird to do it that way, but since I started it with, Season 10, Episode 1 and 2, instead of, trying to push them both together, I just kind of say the title in the episode. So, I just had a quick little thing. I did JD and Turk hanging out to help with burnout on the rooftop drinking, kind of like they used to do in the original series. And I've kind of misnamed the one intern. Let me see here. Scroll up a little bit. I was naming him something, but it was actually... Let's see here. No. We are getting the janitor back, so yeah. That'll be awesome to see. Let's see. Asher Green instead of Wes. He's the British intern, evidently. Let's see. Yeah. I've got a couple other ones. But this was another strong episode. From the way it was talking, though, I thought there was going to be a little bit more with the kind of computer system down. But they only just went back to paper, patient sheets, which really didn't do much. It was more just how they had to do certain kind of records. It didn't really affect most of the other kind of things kind of going on. It was mainly how it kind of connected to the whole stuff of what's going on between JD and Elliot versus anything else. So it was JD and Elliot's kind of story for the most part with the A line, and then the B line was Turk dealing with and trying to teach his interns Amara and Dashana. Let me see. I want to get their names because this also did a good job of kind of bringing the interns a little up, so that's also why I'm kind of like, yay, do that. So we got Asher pretty much doing his stuff and trying to support Amara, and Dashana, yes, the other surgical intern under Turk, because we only really have them. The TikToker, Sam Tosh? Yes. And then we've got Blake Lewis as the stoic intern. I guess he's handsome. The handsome one. There's also Charlie, Wes, and Lily. I don't know. They pop up in weird intervals, but they're focusing mainly on these kind of 4 ones. Well, 3. 5? 3 for the med, 2 for the surgical. Just getting kind of discombobulated. But the whole main kind of one is that Elliot's trying to figure out and try and help this one patient that she's got who doesn't want to go around with this giant bulky medical device to keep her alive. She's like, fuck that shit, just let me die. And Elliot and the HR person, let me see. Silby? Nope. Up, down. Sibby! I thought it was Sibby. Are trying to convince her to stay alive. She's like, hey, what if hell's real? It's like... It's like, shit. And Elliot's like, whoa, we want to get... It's like, you can't come out like that. It's like, what? Alright. It's almost like... Some people would almost take that as a dick. It's like, fuck it, I'll go find out. And think I give a shit at this point? But you can kind of understand, and they at least treated it... There was comedy out of this situation, but also treated it pretty seriously. JD was pretty much telling her to discharge her because they didn't have enough funds and everything, but Elliot thinks it's kind of resentment and everything that's kind of built up from the breakup of their marriage and everything, and that he's just kind of fucking with her. And he also has certain interns that he's doing the Charlie Brown voice to, as they're explaining the doctor rating kind of thing. He's like, oh, I don't care about that kind of system, and then gets immediately absorbed in the system and does the kind of narcissistic kind of shit of spiraling because of this pickle person just calling his ass out. He's like, fuck, it's just burning his ass. And we do find out later that it was Elliot that wrote that kind of stuff of how they just get on each other's kind of nerves. And it does make sense. I mean, they did have those kind of problems in the original series, and it does kind of make sense that it would be a kind of catalyst to kind of just split them up as well. However, they still are attempting to kind of maintain their kind of relationship at the end of the episode. Not a romantic thing, but the relationship that the complicated relationship of friends to lovers to marriage to then breaking up with that marriage, because we also see that with the woman that's like, I don't want to carry around that backpack, I just would rather die. So they do get in contact with like next of kin, like kind of husband-esque kind of thing, and Arthur's supposed to get there. So Elliot pretty much talks with this one dude, gets introduced to the IT kind of person. Carla introduced her to her. She's like, all right, fine, and does this system update to bring the system down, and everybody's just like doing their kind of shit. It's like, oh, all right. JD finds out, and Turk's like, all right, I'm going to introduce you to this dude. Whatever you hear in there, don't fucking repeat it. And pretty much tries to get the system back up, and Turk's like, listen, if you don't do this shit as the dungeon master, I'm going to take your shit. And it's like, oh. And Turk's going to JD like, listen, I tell Carla I go golfing. Don't tell her this shit. And of course, JD at the end stinger gets kind of fucked over by him and decides to play that card. It's just like, dude, no. It was a small fucking thing too. It's like, dude, don't do that. Because Carla doesn't like what's kind of going on with them and wants to have couple friends, and the other only couple friend they would have would be like her brother and sister-in-law. And he's like, we hate them. It's like, okay, evidently that's just me hating them. And she's just like, so the interdynamics of like getting introduced to the IT dude who's like handling the system kind of stuff and doing all that kind of thing, it's like, okay, interesting to have kind of more people in this. And the funny thing is, they also they were talking about like budgeting and stuff like that, and we see like one of the custodial staff's like, thanks, Dr. Dorian, I've got a seat warmer on this thing. And it's like, right? And then Elliot fucking goes by and just fucking slips on it. It's like, you did that on purpose, kind of shit. And that little, like, that floor buffer comes into the plot later on in Turk and his intern's whole kind of story. Well, they are able to get the dude there, even though he has mishaps, gets to the wrong hospital. Tasha's sent out to get him, gets him there, and the funny thing is, you're like, all right, how's this going to go? Is it going to be, I fucking hate you, or I fucking love you kind of stuff? And it's like, you suck. And pretty much it's like, you know what, I'm going to stay alive just to spite your ass. And it's that kind of playful banter of, like, friends that take the piss out of other friends. Like, you have to watch the interactions to see how it kind of goes. And everybody's like, ooh, that took a twist. It's like, all right. And the thing is, they're saying kind of nasty stuff to each other, but the thing is, they've got that kind of quirk smile. The thing is, it's only good if both are in on it, and it's like, I'm glad that you'll be around to, like, fucking be a piece of shit, you cow-ass bitch. It's like, yeah, fuck you, you old bastard-ass shithead. And, the thing is, we do see Elliot kind of have a breakdown, because she didn't want her last moments to be kind of like this woman, where she doesn't have anyone around or anything like that. And JD's like, no, you still have me around, because he also replaced these paper towel dispensers that evidently Elliot can't work. Carla thought they were racist because they wouldn't work for her, but she's able to actually utilize it this time. It was kind of like before they actually changed it, or JD was changing it. It's like, oh shit, they actually do work. It's just Elliot needs help with them, and she's like really crying and really upset about this. And JD's like, no, you'll always have me. I mean, yeah, we've got weird, complicated, fucking stupid ass shit, but yeah. And it was nice to see them kind of have that moment and just kind of work it out together. The other storyline is pretty much mucking around with the robot and seeing who's going to go first. And we have Amara doing it first and kind of doing this thing with this grate, but then Turk's pretty much utilizing car terminology for her to kind of like understand what's going on. However, she's getting really confused and frustrated, and then like really destroys this grape, and they're just like, what the fuck? And she's like, I don't know how to drive. I was also homeschooled. And bringing up all this kind of shit that goes on with homeschool. It's like, oh, okay. And it's like, yeah, you're going to have to figure out what's going on. And it really destroys her kind of confidence. So she's like, yeah, I should just be a mortician or whatnot. And Shauna is like, no, okay, let's figure this out. And she was going to trade on the robot next. And she's like, nah, I kind of want to have Amara do this and see what's kind of going on. We also see that Asher is pretty much he has feelings for Amara, the handsome intern, I think Blake, is trying to get him to kind of like go for it. And he does attempt to go for it at the end because they kind of are like watching her in the background. So it's nice to at least get some support character development as this is going on. I like that. It feels kind of more organic of like, instead of just having them kind of rotate, we also sometimes, even though they're not completely integral to the plot, are on there so we get something out of them and like, now I'm learning more about these characters. I'm seeing how they're interacting. It's like, it's funny, like him giving a good compliment to him. I was like, oh, that's cool, thanks. And her just walking on, I was like, and the dude's like, shit, you have like no game. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He kind of flubbed up, but then he got it. It's like, he still worked it, and they're at least on the same page. It's not a complete and utter fuck up. It's not like he fucking killed her parents in front of her, and they're like, ugh. It's like, fuck. Like, there's worse ways to kind of fuck up the game. But the thing is, Deshauna, like, Turk was pretty much be like, you're a surgical intern. You want to be a surgeon, you got to take the things you want. And Deshauna smartly was like, I want her to train on it, because without the kind of support system, especially what you see with like JD and Turk, even though they're in like different kind of medical fields, I think it kind of helped out. But Turk still also had Todd being a support one, and he pops up every once in a while, which is pretty nice. Like, you're like, yeah, bye. Always good to see. That, I think, is what Deshauna is trying to have with Amara, of like her support system. They're trying to support each other, and I like that she doesn't go complete glory hound. It's like, I'll take this shit. It's like, no, she can be a good surgeon. She just doesn't have the frame of references that we do. So they decide to take that awesome buffer and be like, listen, this has a heated seat. That's not because of my ass. Like, Turk, yes. And she's just driving around and learning about it, and I'm like, cool, this is awesome. It's everybody comes in with different kind of experiences and life experiences. And I like them kind of showing this, yeah, we've got our old legacy cast that have gone through and done some crazy ass shit, and then becoming the kind of older guard that we've seen in the previous show. And, well, not previous show, this is still a new kind of, but what we'd seen previously, and seeing the differences that we've got here. We've got the influencer that I'm glad they balanced out. She could have been a narcissistic dick shit and just fucked over people and just like, yeah, here, yeah. I mean, it's easy to go. They at least give her more nuance and gave her as being a fleshed out character of like, okay, she's learned stuff from this and she's made bank off of this, so that way she paid off all of her student loans. So fuck yeah. And she got the brand deals and she shared it with the people. That's cool. I like to see that kind of stuff. Like, it's not all complete assholes, but you also had to deal with the asshole-ish parts that pop up with those kind of roles and shit. But I'm like, okay, we'll see how she is as a doctor. We'll see how Asher is as a doctor, and see how they kind of grow. I'm glad that they're taking the time to do that, and I like seeing all that kind of stuff working out here. So I'm glad that my worries of these just being two-dimensional characters didn't pan out, and I'm glad that they're balancing well enough with the old guard and the new guard. I'm glad it's like, it wasn't completely intern focused, but I wouldn't mind an intern focused part where like JD and the rest of them are like stuck somewhere and the interns have to fucking, the inmates are in charge of the asylum, yeah, we have to deal with this shit. It would be a really funny thing where like it's the interns in Park, and Park's like, like he gets a taste of like that power and shit, and the interns just fucking throw his ass for a loop, and he just doesn't know how to handle him. And then JD comes back and he's like, listen, I still want this job, but you just handle those fuckers right now. I ain't dealing with them. And so the stinger at the end is that they had the couples thing of JD, Elliot, Carla, and Turk, and they're trying to do charades, and JD was trying to do Fast and Furious, and Turk's like, what the fuck are you doing here, man? And the little joke bit was like this wrestling kind of thing, because we saw JD and Elliot doing that with their whole kind of spiel of like fighting against each other with their like marriage baggage. And then JD and Turk were getting really flustered with each other, and JD just did the whole thing with the Dungeon Master thing, and she's like, oh, that's why that's that little cape. It's a cloak! And then we just shift to him just going after JD in the ring. Oh, it's really good to have a, like, I'm glad that this popped back up and is just hitting with me. If it's not hitting with you, I completely get it. I hope it's not as bad as what the kind of weirdness was of that season 9, because it was just really off and trying to like copy certain things, but it's just nice to just genuinely laugh at the weird, stupid shit that's going on with this. It's like what we do in the shadows when it's on peak. When you're like, yeah, on form, hitting it. And my only real quibble was that I wish they had actually done a little bit more with going, like, certain kind of tech going down, and interns having to explore that, and the older guard having to teach older kind of ways. It's mainly in regards to certain kind of generational differences. You had certain kind of ones before JD's and their kind of generation. I kind of put my, like, I mean, they're still older than me, but I'm still kind of, I guess, in that cohort where you know how to do certain kind of analog stuff, and you know how to do and live within the digital realm, but sometimes it's the issue of the people that only lived in the analog and like, this digital shit ain't making any sense, and then those who have just been completely digital natives like, this analog shit doesn't make any sense, and where you're that kind of in-between middle child of trying to like get your older sibling to relate to your younger sibling because you know some of that and you know some of this, and you're that kind of translator for that kind of thing. I kind of wanted that. Do I think the stories that we got here were bad? Fuck no. They hit with me. It's just when you read the premise, you're like, oh, okay, hopefully we get more out of this. And we really didn't. But that really doesn't affect my enjoyment of the episode because it still hit with what they were doing. So those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.